Hello, it's great to be here. My name is Gary Fowler, and I'll be the host of Lot Token VCTV today. And we're going to be talking about family offices. And I've got my friend Alexis here. My name's Gary Fallon. I've done 17 startups. I've been involved in 2 unicorns. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai. Love artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Been involved in tech in Silicon Valley for a bit over 30 years. And Alexis is here. And, Alexis, so you're in Stockholm. You went to IHM and, what's your,
IHM Business School. You have to. It's
yeah,
Henley Connected Business School.
It's amazing. So you guys
and Stockholm School of Economics. It's one of the top economic schools in
2000
in Europe. Yeah.
So how do you go from Miller Heiman, where you got started, to where you are today in terms of dealing with family office? What was that like?
Okay. Are we going in that direction? Yeah. Okay. I knew when I was 6 years that I was going to work with money, with investing finance capital. So that was always my only interest to do within working. I'm come from an old global business family from sea region and way back from Saudi Arabia. We're actually in direct connection to the number 2 family in Saudi Arabia, the Al Ash Sheikh. They are behind the curtains, and the Al Saud are in front of the curtains, but they are at equal level. I started in financial services. If you are focusing on front office, you start with marketing to book meetings, schedule meetings with prospects. So I did that for 3 weeks. Then the CEO told me that I was so great, so I was going to work under him directly. And that happened after he came in, and I scheduled a meeting with the head of Toshiba, and he came with the limousine driver, and my CEO was very impressed. So, and then I started to learn the trade as an independent financial advisor and also as an investment broker. Worked with that a couple of years. Went into to head of sales. All the best brokers they end up as head of sales, and I've always been the number 1 at all firms. So I've been head of broker, head investment broker a couple of years. Then I ended up in head of sales for a hedge fund, and then I went on my own. Set up my own brokerage company, and then it's within 2 years I've been in the business within financial services and capital markets, and now in alternative investment space for 30 years. So I'm at 28 plus years as we speak, and I'm just doing what I like. So it's if you want to work with hands-on with qualified investors, and you have worked with global leading investment banks and hedge funds for a very long time, you end up being focused, as I did, with the sole focus on working with the principal capital. The principal capital always comes from ultra high net worth individuals, mainly single family offices, and then you can take it up 1 notch, and then you come to the sovereign wealth funds.
Okay, Alexis, so I have a question for you. Here's the deal. You work a lot in the Middle East, right? How does it work? You said
I work everywhere.
So, but you have direct connections to Saudi Arabia. I'm very interested. You said one of the families that you're related to is behind the curtains, the other families. But how do you get into that community to be able to deal with these, super ultra high net worth individuals. How do you make them feel comfortable, especially in that region? What's the secret sauce to doing that?
It's very easy. It's easy peasy, as my children would say when they were asked in kindergarten what their father worked with, and they just looked at them as they didn't understand, and then they said that he's a money doctor. So you have to be able to add value. That's the first thing. But to answer your question in depth, you really need to be a trusted professional. You have to have some direct contact to someone in order to have access, and that's why we at Supercap, our tagline is "Access is everything," because that is what we provide to our clients. Access comes first. Access from access to advantage.
Got it. And here's the deal, and just paint a picture. So with GSD, the My Venture Studio, we have some of the best deal flow in the world. I mean, I'm in 38 countries, and in AI.
I hear that all the time.
No, but I mean, ours are like, my company's one of my companies just won a $75 million contract. 3 weeks ago, 75 million now. I mean, these are like I've been doing this for 37 years, so, and a couple of unicorns behind us. So the deal flow, it's just interesting, right? So the family offices are reaching out from all over the world, trying to get in because they're searching for deals. I get, every other day get a note. But how do you get? So it's just interesting, to source the deals for your customers, right? Your clients, the best. And we're in AI. So it's a little bit different, machine learning, deep learning, unsupervised AI across multiple verticals. How do you find those opportunities for your clients today? How do you do the matchmaking to be able to bring them the deals where, I mean, credibility means you've made them a lot of money, right? So you've got to do a deal that makes them a lot of money. How do you source them?
Yeah, first, we have built a couple of fintech companies ourselves. So we are not only being as the advisory part. So that's a very major part of it. We have set up a Bloomberg Professional Services validated hedge fund, for example. We have done exits of a fintech related company to an institutional player in Sweden, one of the largest. So you have to have actually been there and done that yourself. Otherwise, you don't have the credibility to act on someone else's behalf. Otherwise, you're just as one of many service providers. And most people, to be frank, and the super wealthy, they are not particularly fond of people pitching them, and not either service providers. But going back
Wait a minute, let's focus, Alexis.
Yeah,
let's focus on that. But I want to drill down on that. They're not particularly interested in pitching to them. Tell me a little bit more about that. That's interesting for the audience.
Because
right? How do you get to that?
Yeah, you have to go through a trusted advisor. You have to have a direct or indirect channel to be introduced. Otherwise, it's extremely hard to get access. Because they are approached with unsolicited advice a couple of 100 times the global recognized ones per day. So they are swamped.
So how do
I
they
have my own family office. I have my own private investment office, so I can also see what's coming to me. As to the VC deal flow, is the same. 98% is not quality deals. It's not deals that you want your data analyst to even screen, and that's just the truth.
Yeah, no, I see it myself, having gone down through. We have being it's not dissimilar to being in Palm Beach where I am right now. It's at the and I see the same thing. It's how do you get to meet? You got to do it on a more informal basis, and you have relationships with these folks, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and then they want to invest. I mean, I know from my standpoint, if I've got a deal and I want to do something, I just reach out to my network, personal network, and you got, the deal closed and
Exactly.
right? Because they know they make money. If they come into my
Yeah.
deals, they're going to make money, and they know we're not going to screw them over, right? They're going to be treated fairly, and it's really important, right? Trust is important. So you're dealing with um, let's move outside the Middle East. Where do you see greatest opportunities for what I see right now in from my standpoint dealing with the family offices from AI, quantum, cybersecurity, mobility, is they're coming at us because they're interested in deal flow, right? They want and we do have some relationships too with a number of the family offices, but the how does a company get to those family offices? What's the best way? I know you said trusted person, but how do they find a trusted person? Because there's got to be a way to start. Where do those people hang out, right? So they can find that trusted person just like yourself.
Yeah, it's also very easy or easy peasy. You go through the so-called expert channels, those that are on the radar on LinkedIn and also on VCTV, such as this, for example. Other events on the panels as speakers. They have written a book. They publish some articles and also research reports. So when you are doing all these things, and mainly you have your track record as well, and you are an expert in one specific field, you can go to if you're sick. Do you want to be examined by a generalist or a specialist?
I want to be examined. I want to be examined by my concierge doctor. That's
Okay. A specialist. Everybody wants that, but and it's the same here. You go through an official expert, and then you reach out, or you have some other connection. So everything here is networking.
Yeah. So, I mean, generally what we would do is you go to a general practitioner, but in this case, you go to the person that's the expert to get in. But how do you find them? What would the title of that person? You say LinkedIn. What would the title of that person be on LinkedIn? And how do they get to that person to say, oh, that's a family office? That's a gatekeeper for the family offices. What would it say?
Yeah, they have most like myself for my family office and also my private investment office. They have analysts, so they leverage their team to do research. And I asked one that approached me, how did you find me? Because we, at that time, just 12 months ago, we had said no to all events. We did zero marketing. So everything, as more than 90% as well is now, was inbound. We had zero outbound. Now we perhaps have 10 going to 20% outbound and 80% inbound. And they told me, well, when we did a research, you came up as a trusted advisor and also expert within the top globally. So that's what they told me. So the only thing to validate that is that I would need to ask my analyst to research myself, but that's what they told me. But if you have been at a certain level, you know that there are only a handful globally at your level. So it's actually not to put it blunt, it's not rocket science in that way either.
No, I got it. And what are the family offices looking for, Alexis? What are they today? What are they looking for in terms of investments? I mean, let's prioritize the top three. What are they looking for? I don't mean like the quality of the team, but literally what kind of technologies are really piquing their curiosity from your standpoint.
Yeah, you have to understand that everyone has their specific focus, and I need to give this out as well. You need to have a specific focus because you can't be the best at everything. Our focus is fintech, blockchain, and digital assets. We come from financial services, capital markets, alternative marketplace. So that's our industry. And as you know, 1/3 of the VC money early stage is deployed within fintech as we speak, due to the leverage that we see in the fintech market, and I don't see that will wear off anytime soon. And one other thing, especially for single family offices and super rich, is of course cybersecurity in this world. So I can give you an in real life example. At CET 0403, when I was asleep, because I sleep from 2,300 hours. I always use military time because then you can't fuck up the time zones when you have a meeting. And also I stay to time zone until 0600. So I was asleep here because this was 0403. One of my tech team sent me a DM that a big LinkedIn hack has been breached during the night, our time zone, and my name and my password was on the list. So we changed everything now. So now we have enterprise double security, bank security level at all our devices, all mobile, etc. Because it's enough to be hacked one time, and then they can access you. And if they do that at the wrong time, then that will cause a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the challenge. The challenge, and I know a little bit about cybersecurity. I write a bit about it. But the challenge is we're coming into a new era, right? We're coming into an era where AI and quantum, the nefarious characters already are using quantum computers to be able to do some hacking. So we've got to come up with an entirely new model, decentralized cybersecurity, using things like secret sharing techniques, because we are inundated. I mean, most people don't realize a quantum computer is 158 million times faster than the fastest supercomputer today. In fact, if you painted a picture with words, Alexis, it would mean that what would take 10,000 years on a supercomputer today takes 200 seconds on a quantum. And these systems exist. Those are direct numbers from Google, right? So the situation is we are in a state, and then we've got infobesity. What do I mean by that? It means that there's 49 zettabytes of data on the planet. If you took DVDs or CDs and stacked them one on top of another, it would go 35 times between Earth and the moon. So we've got data all around us. Think about the Internet of Things. Think about your world, Alexis. You've got 300,000 items in your personal cloud. The entire web in 1996 was 257,000 websites. You, Alexis, have more information in your personal cloud than the entire web. What's the challenge? The challenge is it's following the same trajectory. By that, I mean, it's doubling every year. In 5 years, you'll have 10 million items. The problem is our worlds are so wide. And think about this. How many times the last 2 weeks has somebody said, Alexis, did you get my message? Where did you send it? I sent it to your email. Which one? I sent it to your SuperCap. No, I sent it to your Gmail. When did you send it? A week and a half ago. Will you resend it again? I haven't received it. We have challenges with data, serious challenges. And these new techniques, these AI quantum computers matched together, In fact, between 2022 and 2027, it's estimated that Bitcoin could be cracked with these new quantum computers that are out there, right? And these aren't just stories. I mean, this is a direct conversation with the head of the quantum lab at Harvard, right? So we just have to go down through and solve those challenges. So you're right about, if we look at fintech, part of it is blockchain to be able to secure, but the other thing is artificial intelligence, machine learning, because we need to optimize all the procedures, and we got to, in some ways, make them more robotic, right? Use unsupervised AI. At the same time, cybersecurity is critically important. We don't spend enough time on it. The other thing is our lives. We want to live longer. We want to live better quality lives. For Christ's sake, during the pandemic, Alexis, we couldn't even get a roll of toilet paper. I'm sure Sweden had the same kind of issues. We talk about, all these advanced technologies, but because of supply chain, there's no transparency. We couldn't get a roll of toilet paper, among other things, meat, So I think that what I'm hearing from the family offices, and I talk to them also almost every day, almost every single day, is that they're focused on these enabling technologies, and they want to be part of this revolution, this AI and quantum revolution that's out there. And they want to be brought up to speed, and they understand their existing businesses where they've made their, I deal with one family office. She's a sixth generation German family. And they want to have these enabling technologies because their companies want to stay competitive throughout it's not just about their own wealth. It's about how do their companies stay competitive, right? It's very interesting. So I think this is a great, you're right about it. It's a great opportunity for startups. It's just, getting in and finding people just like yourself to look for the contact that'll bridge the gap and open the door for them. So how long, in your opinion, how open are the family offices for investment today compared to 2 years ago? Are they aggressive, or is it status quo?
No, they're actually coming very, very hard, like a tidal wave now in the early stage venture capital space, where they want to get in early to have access to qualified opportunities. That's the other part of what we do. We also do the main part for them, which is wealth consolidation, risk mitigation, and then thirdly, opportunities. So you need to be able to do what they need as a whole, and then there are other services that they need as well. But these are the main services. No, and they are going into the early stage venture capital space. They are actually investing heavily, and you also have to understand, which not many do, that the main supplier of early stage venture capital to the early stage venture capital funds comes from ultra high net worth individuals and single family offices.
Oh, I know that. Most people
they are the LPs, and most people do not understand this.
Yeah, I got it. I hear it all the time. I live at the Polo Club down here in Palm Beach, and I hear it like direct. I'm the poorest guy in the neighborhood, but I have the smallest house, literally. But some of my neighbors are some of the wealthiest people on the planet, and I hear it almost regularly, especially this time of year. Their appetite has really grown. I hear the same thing. They come to me and they asked about AI. They asked about what kind of startups are interesting today, how the world's going to change. They want to know too, because they understand that if they don't figure it out, they're going to become dinosaurs. And they want to do multi-generational wealth. They're not going to be able to do it. The world's changing too quickly unless they adapt. And so
exactly. And this is it. Smart people, they are curious. They ask questions. Stupid people, they have all the answers. And they're happily giving away their answers, which is which is mainly from the news. So it's not like they have thought about it themselves or from the newspapers.
Yeah, it's interesting you said something that some of the early stage funds, they're limited partners in these funds. I didn't realize it, 10 years ago. And then I started to see it more and more because I would be contacted by some of the VC firms. And you find out inside, once you dig into it a bit, you find out that those family offices are somehow inside of those funds. And I deal with a number of them personally, friends of mine,
Mm.
but I see it a lot. It's
Mm.
quite interesting. But I also see now, because they're reaching out, is that they want to be a bit more aggressive than they were in the past.
They're
Uh,
going much more direct now. They want to
direct,
go
direct.
direct. They
Alexis, it's
want
direct.
they want to be hands-on. And for example, if they have a specific expertise where they made their money, they're happy to go long in to an early stage venture and also deploy their leverage, both with capital, their network, strategically, very, very hands-on, much more hands-on than any early stage VC fund ever can be.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I had one of the wealthiest families that we're dealing with now in the UK, and that particular family owns banks and et cetera. And they're enamored by this technology. They're willing to open up their banks up. I mean, they're a major shareholder in a banking system. Um, Without getting into too many details, because I'm sure
No.
we all know the same people, right? Uh, but anyhow, it's quite interesting because they're diving in, head into. They're like, okay, we could use this at this bank.
I'm never mentioning any names, so you can't ever tell if we
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
meet them. If we don't meet them at the same event.
yeah, exactly. And it's just so interesting because and I see this from. I just had one of the families uh, touch base with me. One of the multi-generational wealth families out of the West. I mean, they're interested in AI. I had in not just AI, but like how it applies to their particular market where they've made their money, right? Then how can it be used in all kinds of other ways? So those are the kind of questions that they're asking.
Yeah,
And
because because they are focusing on, as they do, they're focusing on wealth preservation and then
exactly.
leverage, etc. So they are very keen on adapting because they know, because they're smart, they have made their money, they are rich. You either adapt or die, and this is a time in space where you have to have this aggressive attitude mentally. You have to adapt or die.
Yeah, and the time for dying is a lot faster than it was before because the changes
Much faster,
are
much
amazingly
faster.
fast, right?
Yeah,
And those companies those family offices that don't do it are just not going to be around. And so family offices out there, uh, adapt or die, as Alexis said. You need to move forward as fast as you can. You need to look at these emerging technologies that are going to change us, change our lives. Cybersecurity, of course, is important across all vertical markets as we move through the Internet of Things with health tech, farming 4.0, the plant that we're going to have to double the food population by 2050 to feed everybody. At the same time, 26% of the pollution today is caused by farm animals. So we can't increase the number of farm animals. We've got to find innovative ways to make our lives more efficient. And at the same time, in my words, I spoke at the United Nations, Alexis, 3 weeks ago to the 76th Assembly, and we were talking about AR and VR as a tool to combat violent extremism, terrorism. It came to me, I was three-quarters down in the panel, and I got sick of it. And I said, let's talk about technology as a tool for peace, how we can democratize opportunities and utilize the human capital that's around the world. And I'm putting my money in those areas, by the way. So I'm in 38 countries all over Africa. Today, my partner's in Cape Town, Nigeria, Ghana, Zambia, Kenya. There's incredible talent and incredible companies that are there that are untapped. Let's go down and help each other. Let's go down and make this world a better place. Family offices that are out there. You want to put your dent, where you want to impact. It's not about entitlement. It's about creating opportunities in other places where you can create another billion-dollar company. Look where other people don't look. Look where areas that, from the outside look riskier, but when you look on the inside, for instance, Nigeria's got 206 million people. Some of the greatest minds on the planet are there. And they are direct, by the way, in fintech, it's because I have 5 companies in Nigeria myself. Uh, that's a great hotbed of opportunity that's untapped for the most part. So let's look at places all over the world and let's bring humanity together. Alexis, we're coming to the top of the hour.
Mhm.
Closing thoughts and how do the family offices get a hold of you and startups?
You can reach me on my LinkedIn profile, highly visible and highly secure as of this night's hack. And you can also find me on supercap.io.
I want to thank you so much, Alexis, for joining today. My name's Gary Fowler, and as I said, I'm the CEO, president, co-founder of Jet Shit Done Venture Studios. We're an AI and quantum venture studio. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can reach out to me on Twitter. Check out my shows that I have every week, including the Founders Report here on VCTV. Stay happy, stay healthy, and stay safe. I'd like to thank the entire LedToken VCTV team for making this possible today. Hasmic and company, thank you very much. And stay tuned, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Alexis. Appreciate it.
Thanks
today.
for having me. Thanks.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.